Okay, so we move over to Vegas. I love what they did.
Sorry, I didn't realize this. Just also about Arizona and about how much they might want to win this year. They've got 8 first and second round picks in next year's draft.
Yeah.
So talk about not caring about this year,
You're absolutely right. Oh, they clearly don't care about this year. It's so clear. You're absolutely right. And Cindy Plays Horses has Kraken Knights under and Canucks over. The Knights are just a really good hockey team still. As much as I want them to not be as good, this Vegas team is just so good. I don't expect Pacioretty to be healthy throughout the year. Mark Stone is a leader that has impressed me. I didn't think he was worth the contract, but he has been. Chandler Stevenson is a good centerman. Whether or not he should be a first-line centerman, it depends how you see him. I don't know. You got Wild Bill on the second line, so there's a centerman who can. That Marchessault Smith Carlson line has just been good, and I love the Nolan Patrick pickup. And I understand why Flyers fans think he's absolute trash. I don't. I think he can be special still. I like that line with Janmark and Dadonov. I don't know why they got rid of Ryan Reeves. I'm happy that he doesn't bully the Canucks anymore, but I don't know why they did that. Their defense is so good. Pietrangelo, Alec Martinez, McNabb, and Theodore. It's just a good team. And Leonard, he's outspoken, but he can handle it. And I think this Vegas Golden Knights team is just going to be exactly what they were last year, and trouble to deal with. 105.5 points is too many, probably, but this division's so weak. You have any interest in Vegas?
Let me see. No, I have no. Let me see what my official. I don't think I would. Hold on. Let me see. Sorry. Let me just got so many notes here. Where the hell is it? I can't find it. No, I have no opinion on Vegas. What's their total?
105.5.
Yeah, I'd probably take the over on that one, to be perfectly honest here. And when most people say that, they're lying out their ass, but I'm not. I would take that. If you gave me a free play on it, I'm not going to bet it.
Yeah, Dennis says Vegas under small play. It's just the division's so weak. Next up, we have the Oilers. I don't think Hyman was a bad pickup at all, But when I look at who they're surrounding Draisaitl and McDavid with, I just think, God, man, this management has to do a better job. Unless Puljujärvi does step up. He's certainly got the physical gifts to do that. Nugent Hopkins has become a leader, but still has toddler shoulders. Their defense has improved with Darnell Nurse becoming a monster, in my estimation. I'm one of the best defensemen in the NHL, but it's not like Duncan Keith had the worst Corsi numbers in the NHL as a defenseman last year.
Yeah.
I think he's going to change anything. I don't get the pickup here. I don't get it. But I think Darnell Nurse is just coming into his own. He's so good. He's so big. He could be better than Seth Jones. Darnell Nurse could end up being a Norris Trophy candidate year in and year out. Dennis Garcia said McDavid went all out to get 100 points against Van. Couldn't take one game from Winnipeg in the playoffs. Enjoyed every minute of it. Nuge has the horses to keep him happy, says Cindy. Look, Nuge is Burnaby Winter Club hockey player. He's in the Bantam A finals. He beat my alma mater team 4-1. He scored 4 power play goals. And look, I've been following him closely. I wanted better for him. Brady says Hyman was a great pickup. Splitting up that line is the mistake. Bruins have proved you have to ride your strength. Big mistake. I think that's a great point. I mean, it's a great point. You have the perfection line in Boston, and maybe Draisaitl and McDavid should be put together. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this Oilers squad? Do you think they have any value here, Pete?
It's so frustrating, teams like this, although sometimes they can. You see this in all sports, teams that have it's like the Angels when they had Trout and no one else around them. It's just, they're so bad, and they're trying to, not waste McDavid here, but Duncan Keith was just seems like just the wrong move. So I'd have to be leaning under here, although, you don't need to improve much to make a major improvement with those two guys, with Draisaitl and McDavid. But if you gave me a free play on the points total at 97.5, I'd take under.
Cindy says that Nuge wanted to stay in Edmonton, so I expect a decent year from him. Yeah, he did. He really wanted to stay in Edmonton, stay with that group. We'll move on to the Flames. This is just so Johnny Gaudreau's in a contract season. I cannot believe we've come to this. How did we get to a point where Sean Monahan scores 20 points in a 56-game regular season? Sean Monahan was picked in like the late 11th round of a hockey pool last night with 14 teams. Also a Canadian hockey pool where the Canadian teams are always overvalued. What's happened to Monahan? It's shocking to me. Lindholm and Matthew Tkachuk have become so much better than Monahan and Gaudreau. And now we have Gaudreau in a contract season where if he steps up, he gets a juicy contract that can take care of everybody. And if he doesn't, I do not know what to make of this Flames team at all. At all. Hanifin, Tanev is your number one defensive lineup. Markstrom is good. He's good goalie. This division's bad, so they can get some wins. But I guess you have to, in your cap of the Flames, you have to say, what are your expectations of Monahan and Gaudreau? Because I thought they were going to be monsters in this league. I thought Gaudreau could score 100 points in this season.
Yeah, I would say the range of outcomes is for this team one of the biggest in the league. So it's a pass for me as far as a futures bet's concerned. Although worth paying close attention to as the season progresses, because they might be a lot worse or a lot better than you might expect, especially in spurts. And betting into those runs might have good betting value.
Yeah, I agree. Brady says Flames have proven they lack leadership. They've showed no improvement under Sutter. Sutter comes in and he's this hard-nosed coach. He gets the most out of his players, and they go 15-15 with them. Johnny K says can see Gaudreau having a big season. I thought Monahan. Now look, granted, the NHL's a very tough league, but Sean Monahan, Ryan Johansson, big centermen with soft hands that can win faceoffs that won't get bullied. I thought that's the future of the NHL. These guys, and just shocking. Absolutely shocking that they could. Look at this defense. I mean, Hanifin, Tanev, Zadorov, Rasmus Anderson, Goodbranson, and Killington. Goodbranson is such a bitch. He never protects anybody on his team. If you have a teammate that gets hit from behind, Goodbranson doesn't go over there and beat him up. He picks and chooses when he fights. He's the softest little bitch enforcer in the NHL. He should be the toughest guy in the NHL. His Corsi numbers are atrocious, and he doesn't stick up for. Just enjoy watching Goodbranson not stick up for fucking anybody. You Flames fans, you're gonna despise Goodbranson like I do now after watching him not protect the Canuck for 3 years. Well, that's why we brought him over, for protection. He shouldn't have a job in the NHL. Okay, I'm getting angry because I know that the Canucks are coming up. All right, let's move on to the Kings here, and we're almost done this breakdown. We'll be done in 6 minutes. Thank you guys for sticking with us here. The LA Kings, I love the Victor Arvidsson trade. For some reason, I always think Arvidsson's bigger than he is, and that's a testament to what kind of player he is, because he's just a little guy, but he plays big, and Dustin Brown is being better. You're waiting for these guys like Velarde and Iafallo to step up. I like the Philip Deneau pickup, but he's not a top 6 forward to me. He's a third line center. He should have some, strong defensive forwards on his wing, and he's there to win faceoffs. And Johnny K says King's my dark horse. I mean, I like the Edler pickup. They're paying Quick too much money to be a backup. I don't know what to make of this Kings team other than to bet unders when we take them. They have big. They're a big, tough forward group, except for Velarde and I don't know, Andreas Athanasiou. I mean, he's not going to be on this team. When there's lots of fast skaters. You also have to go into the dirty areas, which he's afraid of. Let's see what their season win total is for the LA Kings. 86.5, heavily juiced to the over. What do you think, Pete?
They're in a soft. I don't really like them if they were in a tough division, but they're in a soft division, and we kind of know what to. Yeah, I would. I don't know. I'd lean under, but it's a soft division for sure.
Kopitar and Brown were excellent.
Yeah.
and they get nothing done. So I know. And then look at the next team favored in this division is the Kraken. Kraken much higher rated than the Canucks.
Over 89.5. No Jimmy the Bag. I'm looking at Heritage right now. I'm seeing 89.5. At Bet Online, I'm seeing 91.5. But we do a line shop here, and I'm seeing 89.5. So I'll quote that one. Over 89.5. Are you kidding me?
The 89.5 here at Bet365 is heavily juiced to the not heavily, but it's juiced to the under.
89.5. Really?
Yeah, 89.5 is minus 125 to the under. It's too bad that hopefully they got their guys ready to go tonight. And even if they do have the guys ready to go, I think all this bullshit is going to hurt them with the COVID stuff. But look, I like their team. They have a lot of trustworthy players. Their defense is very good.
Yeah.
Susie, Larson, Fleury, Giordano, Dunn, and Lauzon. Their goaltending is excellent. I mean, this could be the best.
Yes.
Yeah, second to the Islanders tandem. I mean, maybe that's a little much, but Grubauer and Drieger are very good. It's too bad that Yarncroc, Donskoy, Johansson, McCann, aren't here in this group. But Wenberg can be good. Jaden Schwartz and Eberle are players that you can trust, and Schwartz is a very high character guy. And Raj.
So what is that? Are you seeing at Bet365 plus 105 on the over?
At Bet365, we have minus 105 to the over, minus 125 to the under.
Okay, minus 105, over 89.5. That's going to be another official pick for me. No?
I don't dislike it. I just I don't know what to make of them at this point still. I think that, if they were to get 87 points or 86 points, that's a good season. That's a good season. Cool, Jose. Thank you so much, my man. So I don't know. I think it's right around the right number.
Okay, goalies are notoriously hard to predict, but they've got two who are probably top 10, and I think that, and again, a modest, good defense, modest win total, points total. So I'll make that official. If it loses, fine. I'll make it official.
Now we head over to the Vancouver Canucks. Look, I was very hard on Benning and the decisions he's made, and I think deservedly so. But this team will be better this year than we expected them to be because of the moves that they made in the offseason. But I did not want Oliver Ekman-Larsson's contract around our neck. I just don't understand why we have to keep making the same mistakes over and over again and getting contract and then getting small forwards that are easy to play against. Look, Connor Garland is good character and he's fast and he can snipe. Isn't that our whole hockey team? I mean, Pedersen can look so good at times, and as the season goes on, he just gets beaten up. Hoglander, we probably asked too much of him last year, and maybe he's able to succeed this year. JT Miller is a really good hockey player who does everything for us. I mean, Tanner Pearson, Bo Horvat, Connor Garland, it's not a bad line. It's a good line. It's a good second line. Bo Horvat is a good centerman. He wins faceoffs. This team wins so many faceoffs that you're like, how are they not good? It's because they make terrible decisions, like signing Tyler Myers. Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Tyler Myers are first-line defensemen. Quinn Hughes, look, I always wanted a quarterback of the power play like Quinn Hughes. I always dreamt of it. But I watched Doug Lidster. Okay, let's go back. Doug Lidster. Let's go back further than Dennis Kearns. Dennis Kearns was a soft hands, offensive defenseman and had to learn how to be defensive. And it was tough because those are the Broad Street Bully days, and it was tough for a small defenseman. Then we had Doug Lidster come in, who had to learn how to be positionally sound at all times. He had to be positionally sound because he wasn't very big. Other young small defensemen had to figure that out, like Phil Housley. But Quinn Hughes hasn't figured it out. And he's just, every time he's on the ice, he's a defensive liability. And it sucks. It sucks that he can't figure out how to be positionally sound and not pinch at the right times. You know what? If you're Quinn Hughes, maybe stop pinching altogether. Be a power play specialist. And a lot of people are higher on the Canucks than I am, and that's great. That gives me hope. And thank God Holtby's gone. But I don't like this defense. I'm happy Luke Schen's back. I don't like this defense. And we've been waiting so long for Pettersson to step up. Podkolzin is very exciting young forward. But I don't see how this team is going to be good. Can they sneak into the playoffs because the division's terrible? Possibly. 88.5 points. Brady says Hughes has to become more responsible defensively. In my opinion, Canucks overpaid for him. You can score 5 but give up 7. Hughes has to improve defensively. I don't even like watching him on the ice anymore, and I was so excited about having him. What are your thoughts here on these Vancouver Knuckleheads?
I mean, they seem primed for a big improvement, but they were so bad defensively last year. They got to improve, and they might not. There might be something with fundamental with the coaching and management, and that's very, very scary to me. So I wouldn't touch them. I wouldn't touch them on futures. If it looks like they're basically the same as last year, then I would look for them to be overvalued. If they've looked like they've fixed some of their defensive problems from last year, then they might be very undervalued, at least until the market catches up.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with these Canucks. I'll be very interested watching them. Then we get to the Sharks. God, Doug Wilson is just absolute trash. This team is so bad. Logan Couture scored 30 points in 50 games last year. I mean, he can't even create offense. And Timo Meier, he should be able to create offense with them. You got William Eklund and Alexander Barabanov on the wings of Thomas Hertl. And those are your top 6 forwards. It's just, the Erik Karlsson trade was just atrocious. This team is just a bad hockey team. But at home, they probably will give us value this year. I think as a home dog, they probably should be backed. North Andy says at least Holtby's gone. And Slat says Holtby in Dallas, you have to keep cheering for him. He's so bad. Getting Martin Jones is a big help. But Aiden Hill and James Reimer, there's a chance that Aiden Hill could be a good goaltender. I mean, he's in the Ben Bishop ilk of a 6'6" goalie, and he's capable of being good. And I think the Sharks will give us value as home dogs this year. But I don't know how to have any high hopes for them. 81.5, I'd probably take their under. What do you think of the Sharks here, Pete?
I would lean under. It just feels like a bottoming out season for them. The depth isn't there. They're just on a downward slope, and this might be the nadir of that curve. So yeah, I would lean under.
Then we have the Ducks, and asking Trevor Zegras to do a ton here, which is possible. Ryan Getzlaf, have they waited too long to move him at the deadline? I don't know why they didn't move him at the deadline last year. He probably has to stay. But Getzlaf, hopefully, at $3 million per, hopefully he gets a chance to try another run with a talented squad at the trade deadline. They're an interesting team here because with John Gibson in goal, there's times when they're a great spot for an under. And I don't know if that's going to go away with these young forwards. But this is an ugly hockey team with potential to be a strong power play team. And if they're coached right and they have, Shattenkirk and Fowler on the points, that's the second unit. They got Drysdale and Zegras on the point of their first power play. And they got guys who can score in Raquel and Comtois and Silverberg. And they're going to play a defensive style. And if Gibson can get hot, there could be some value with them at home in that sleepy arena where no one's at. Both the Sharks and Ducks at home as dogs are probably going to give us value this year.
Yeah, this conference is going to have a lot of underwhelming and probably overvalued teams going against each other, which can be good for spots betting wise. And when we've sort of gone over this division, this is why I would probably still take Vegas on the over at 105.5 because there's just so much questions all throughout this division. The
division is just awful.
It's not looking good, and that's why I like Seattle kind of at 89.5. On the over.
I like what Ron Francis did with the team. So I can't wait to watch them. I was so excited about watching them tonight. I hope the guys can get in the lineup, even though I would prefer to get the odds with them in the lineup. Brady says you don't support the Sharks. You exploit situations for huge plus money. I think the Sharks and Ducks are going to be legitimate home dogs to bet on this year. I really do. And we should keep a very close eye on the Ducks goaltending, because when Gibson gets hot, he's very good. And they're going to play a defensive style and try to counterattack and try to, be power play specialists. And I think they're both going to give us value at home. And they can beat the Kings and the Flames and the Canucks and the Kraken. So I didn't realize that until we talked it out. But I think the Sharks and Ducks at home will be good value, and for different reasons. The Sharks will still sell out their joint, and it'll still be a wild, crazy place to play. And the Ducks will be sleepy and no one there. So, and Birdie saying agreed. Sharks and Ducks at home as dogs this year. And maybe right away. Maybe right away too. Right when this. So I'm going to look into that. There you have every team in the NHL broken down. Pete, I know we had to stay long. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and for everybody in the chat. I really loved getting to do this with Pete so that we can just attack NHL on our shows.